Emergency alert, seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. The alert continues to say, a 100 kiloton nuclear bomb is going to hit the center of the city within the next 10 minutes. Can you survive a nuclear attack? Your chances of survival boils down to how far you're from the center of the bomb's detonation and how fast you can get to shelter, as you need to prepare for the blast, heat and radiation. Fireball radius 500 meters. If you are caught within the 500 meters radius of the fireball produced by the nuclear explosion, expect to face a quick death. The fireball is millions of degrees Celsius, producing a temperature surpassing that of our own sun. Your only hope is to use that 10 minutes to get as far away as you can from ground zero. Use most of your time to travel further away, at least 3 kilometers, and then find shelter. If you decided to stay and seek immediate shelter, the nuclear bomb's impact directly over your bunker would most likely destroy it, killing you or leaving you trapped inside. Heavy blast damage radius 1 kilometer, 0.6 miles. If you are within 500 to 1000 meters from ground zero, the pressure from the blast will create a super shock wave, destroying and severely damaging even heavily built concrete buildings. If you are caught outside or in a building, you have no chance of survival, so find underground shelter or travel out of the shockwave radius and find shelter there. Radiation radius 1.8 kilometers, 1.1 miles. Moving further out up to 1.82 kilometers from ground zero, this is the radiation radius. Exposure to radiation at this distance is likely to kill you within the next hours to month. Expect to suffer from nausea and headaches, hair loss, bleeding, chance of infection if you survive the first few days. 15% of survivors will eventually die of cancer as a result of the radiation exposure. Moderate blast damage radius 2.12 kilometers, 1.3 miles. The blast will continue to travel up to 2.12 kilometers from ground zero. The pressure from the shock wave will decrease enough that if you are caught outside, you are likely to survive, but most residential buildings are likely to have collapsed, causing numerous fatalities and extensive injuries to those that have miraculously survived. There is also a high risk of damaged buildings starting fires, so seek shelter in a bunker or a building isolated from other buildings. Thermal radiation radius 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles. Even up to 4 kilometers away from the center of the explosion, the heat is so intense there is a 100% probability it will cause third-degree burns, but don't worry, they will be painless because the heat is so hot they will destroy the pain nerves. These burns can be so severe, they can be fatal or require amputation. Even beyond this distance, first and second-degree burns are likely to occur due to the immense heat. Past this area you enter the light blast damage radius 5.5 kilometers, 3.4 miles. At this distance, expect glass windows to break and cause injuries to the surrounding population. To make matters worse, if you are lucky to survive the nuclear bomb, we haven't yet looked at the effects of nuclear fallout. It's now a real race against time, but don't worry, this is where knowing what to do in the first hour of a nuclear attack might just be the difference between life or death. Fallout is most dangerous in the first few hours after the detonation, when it is giving off the highest levels of radiation. When the bomb goes off, the explosion creates an immense amount of dust and debris, which combines with the radioactive products forming the fallout. It takes time for fallout to arrive back to ground level, often more than 15 minutes for areas outside of the immediate blast damage zones. This is enough time for you to be able to prevent significant radiation exposure by following these simple steps. 1. Get inside. Cover your mouth and nose and get inside the nearest building or basement to avoid radiation. Remembering the key factor is putting as many thick layers between you and the fallout. If you want to block out 99% of radiation, you need to shelter behind 12.5 centimeters of steel, 40 centimeters of brick, or 60 centimeters of packed earth. If you are in a city with a subway system, heading deep inside would also offer a decent level of protection. If not, instead, get to the center of the building. Use whatever you can, like duct tape, to close off areas where fallout might enter, like doors, fireplaces, air conditioners, windows. Remove contaminated clothing and wipe off or wash unprotected skin if you were outside after the fallout arrived. Carefully remove your outer layer of clothing. This can remove 90% of radioactive material. Shower if you can and make sure to use soap and shampoo, but avoid using conditioner to prevent the radioactive particles binding to your hair. Even if there's no shower, wash your face, hands and any body parts that were exposed using a damp cloth or wet wipe. By now you probably have realized being outside is a death wish, so make sure you follow this next tip. 2. Stay inside. Within the first hour, the radioactive fallout outside is already decayed by 50%. Within the first 24 hours it will have given up 80% of its energy, going up to 99% after 2 weeks. But remember, if the radiation was high enough to begin with, that 1% could still be dangerous, so stay indoors for as long as possible. Stay inside for at least 24 hours unless local authorities provide other instructions. Continue to wear a mask and keep a distance from other people not a part of your household. 3. Stay tuned. Tune into any media available for official information, such as when it is safe to exit and where you should go. Any electrical devices such as phones, TVs, laptops and internet services may be disrupted or unavailable. However, battery-operated and hand-crank radios will function after a nuclear detonation. If you don't have anything, wait for government agencies to send help and listen out for their instructions. Stay inside as long as you can. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.